Folks, researchers say that by the year 2053, the median wealth of African Americans will fall to zero. The report, The Road to Zero, How the Racial Wealth Divide is Howling Out America's Middle Class, points out many factors that are contributing to the downward trend for people of color. Let's break this thing down with my two guests as to what is going on here. Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach. Also, the senior fellow here for the Wealth Divide Initiative, Didrik Asante Muhammad. All right, so what's that play here? Down to zero?
And it's not so good right now. Median wealth for African Americans is $1,700, $2,000 for Latinos. So that's not that far from zero. That's a small car accident wipes out the median wealth for African Americans in 2013.
How?
And what is driving it really, Roland, is the new financial normal. We are no longer in our parents' economy where you're going to go to job, get that six-figure job, a career for life, and then have a pension. So what we're talking a lot about, and certainly what this study brings out, is the fact that income volatility in this gig economy is driving a lot of this. I mean, your ability to build wealth is directly correlated to your ability to have a stable income. That's how you qualify for housing. That's how you qualify for home loans. That's how you qualify for pretty much everything. So from my standpoint, what we need to do is understand that we are in what is a new economic landscape that really requires a different approach.
And we got to be honest that what has happened is though all those mid-level jobs that people with high school degrees or maybe a little college, those jobs have been gone. I keep telling people, you have to understand, I can't tell you the last time I walked into a bank.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so teller
grocery
jobs,
stores,
all of those jobs,
cabs.
Grocery stores, you now check out by yourself. You look at what's happening with transportation, Uber, and all these companies. So what has happened, and for us, it was housing.
Yes.
53% of black wealth wiped out due to the home foreclosure crisis.
That's right. That's right. And you're highlighting a mixture too of a growing income crisis and ongoing unemployment. African Americans have had twice the unemployment rate of whites since the 1963 March on Washington for Freedom and Jobs. So we're just trying to help highlight how wealth that without a good amount of wealth, you can't ride these economics ups and downs. And that's why African American wealth has been decreasing since the 2000 recession. Not the 2007 Great Recession, since the 2000 recession. African Americans never recovered from that recession. It's been going down. So we have a mixture of income, employment, and wealth, and it's a challenge to the entire American middle class. The American middle class median wealth has been going down for the last 30 years as well.
And Deborah, what we're seeing again, when you look at this tax cut that Trump wants to push through, that is not going to benefit the so-called middle class. That is targeted to the top, not even the top 1%, the top 0.2%.
Well, the theory is that approach will be trickled down, right? That if
we done heard that before.
Well, yeah, and we see where
that was a Sunshine Anderson song. I heard it all before.
Yeah, it was. But here's what I want people to understand: that clearly things have changed and things haven't gotten better, but there are a few things that are driving this wealth gap. And part of it is, in our community, is financial acumen, Roland. If we'll really dig into why the wealth gap continues to widen, what we will see is that African Americans are risk averse. Even if you look at how we contribute and how we invest in our retirement plans, typically we are more conservative, and what that does over time is it doesn't allow our assets to compound rapidly. The other aspect of it is we have to be clear about the kinds of choices that we're making with the income that we have. Mm-hmm. We've got to, so for example, I came with some tips that I want to go over.
You got about 30 seconds.
Okay, a couple of things then. We've got to be real clear on getting housing. Housing, many people
buy a house you can afford.
Yeah, buy a house you can afford. Secondly, be real careful about taking on a lot of student loan debt. Make sure that you're going into you're investing in the retirement plan, or you're creating your own. That's what's really critical. And
I just want to highlight, it's important that we also don't get confused between you're making a good income. That doesn't mean you have a good wealth, right? And just because you have a college degree doesn't mean you have a good wealth. White high school educated people have more wealth than blacks with college degrees. So when you're doing your financial planning, there's a reason why blacks are conservative. You're conservative when you don't have much money to deal with, and so you have to be more conservative. Because you're trying to conserve the $1,500 you have. I just want to talk about policy. We already have a tax policy where $650 billion a year is invested in asset development. The problem is most of that goes to the wealthy. So we have to make it not more regressive, but more progressive.
Folks, what can they see the report real quick?
You can see it at www.prosperitynow.org. All right.
And you can go to DeborahOwens.com and learn more about how you can shift from income to wealth.
And we'll be back. News 1 Now, TV 1. Thanks a lot.